All right, welcome to lesson 9. This is reading scales. And many of the lessons you've done previous to this are going to help prepare you for this lesson. Lessons like lesson 1, which was sequences, word problems about comparing, and also number lines, of course. So a scale is some kind of visual representation of numbers across a line. It could be horizontal or vertical, like I have on the board. I have two different versions to show you. You'll often see scales on different things, like on a car odometer or speedometer. You see it on thermometers. You might see it on a scale that you stand on to weigh yourself. And a lot of times they don't put a number at every single dash, every single tick mark on those scales. You are supposed to recognize that there's a sequence, there's a pattern going on, and you're supposed to fill in what's in between. A lot of times you'll see them being numbered by 2s, sometimes 5s or 10s. Up here I have a couple different ones to show you. At the very top I have a horizontal number line, and it's missing some tick marks. Okay, you have 0, then a space, then 50, then a space, then 100. And in math you might get questions like, what is the number located between the 50 and 100? So you need to recognize what pattern goes 0, something, 50, something, 100. And you know that from 50 to 100, there are 50, if you subtract those two, there's 50 missing. Then you got to find out what's in the middle of 50. Well, 50 cents in the middle would be 25 cents. So 25 cents more than 50 would be 75. Okay, so 50, 75, 100. Okay, and then you could fill in the rest, check it for yourself. This would be 0, 25, 50, 75, 100, 125. Just like you're counting quarters. Okay, so we figured that this pattern works. It's counting by 25s, and we checked it to make sure. Now here I have a representation of a thermometer. Now a lot of times, we've already talked about this year, in science, in math, and in almost every college class you have, you'll be looking at temperature in Celsius. That's what most of the world uses. Textbooks are making a shift towards that, and it's going to take a while probably for a lot of the Americans to get used to it, but since I lived in Russia for a couple of years, I caught on really quick with Celsius scale. Now, Celsius scale is very easy, and it's the basic scale is from 0 to 100. 0 is freezing, that's where water freezes, and 100 is where water boils. And Fahrenheit is a little different. 32 is where water freezes, and 212 is where water boils. So the numbers are very easy with the Celsius scale. Those numbers, the water boiling and freezing, is something that you're expected to memorize. It'll come up in math over and over and over again, that on the Celsius scale, water freezes at 0. On the Fahrenheit scale, water freezes at 32. All right, they're two different scales. Water boils at 100 on Celsius, water boils at 212 on Fahrenheit. Okay, so it's something you're going to need to memorize, so just be prepared for that. Behind here I have a thermometer, and if you can't tell from looking at it, I have it filled up to this line right below the 20, right below the 20 degrees. Okay, so here you see I have 0 degrees, 10 degrees, 30, 40, 50, and if you go below 0, okay, so people say, oh, it's so cold, it's like 32 degrees below 0. That's negative, right? So 0, negative 10, negative 20, negative 30. Now, look at the tick marks in between to see what I'm counting by. So if here's 0, here's 10. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots in between. So I'm not using ones, because otherwise this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees. It's double that, right? So double the 1, it'd be 2s. Let's count by 2s and see. Here's 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Right? Go back 1, 18. That's where the line is at. This thermometer is marked at 18 degrees. Okay, I haven't labeled it if it's Celsius or Fahrenheit, but 18 degrees. Okay, so that's looking at scales. Let's go ahead and look at one of your 3 problems tonight. we'll go ahead and check out number 2. It says on the Celsius scale, what temperature is 5 degrees less than boiling point of water? Remember to write the degree symbol. It's important. The one I've written right here. All right. So I've told you on the Celsius scale, and it's on your worksheet. You can look up at the top. It shows you the scale. What temperature is 5 degrees less than boiling? I told you that boiling was 100 degrees. So boiling is at 100 degrees Celsius. And it says 5 degrees less than that. So this is word problems about comparing I warned you about. 5 degrees less means subtract 5. If you take away 5 from 100, you get 95 degrees Celsius. Don't forget to write a degree symbol, and don't forget to capitalize the C afterward to label your answer. Thank you very much. See me if you have any questions.